Hey, what is going on, guys? It's Kid up here, and in this video, I'm gonna talk about freelancing. So I know that, like in my channel, right, I talk a lot about freelancing in the past, and in general, I'm pretty passionate about this subject because I do feel that, as a designer, right, if you want to have the freedom of creativity or if you want to have the freedom of finances, right, then I think being a freelancer or running your own design business is the way to go, right? And I do think that in 2022 is actually a pretty good year for you to take that journey, right? If you're thinking about that already, like if that kind of concept is in your mind, right? Hopefully this video will give you some kind of motivation to actually make that jump to start being a full-time freelancer, right? But if you are, if you don't even know what a freelancer is for a designer, right? If you don't know the benefits and all that, and I do have a big list in here, and these are the list of items that, in the past 6 or 7 years, and why do I think that, why do I like being a freelancer, right? What keep me going as a freelancer? And this is the big list of that, right? Not gonna go too deep into the details because I have individual videos for a lot of this list, but just quickly go over them. So the first one is the benefits of money, right? So for freelancers, you can double or triple your regular salary. If you're making 100 grand right now, you can make like 200 grand, 300 grand, as long as you want to work more, right? Like you have full control over the type of work that you're getting and the money that you're making instead of asking for a raise, right, which is pretty tough. So you can totally do that as a freelancer. And the second point is you have the freedom to design when to work and where to work, right? And that is pretty obvious, right? You can work on the beach if you want. And then the third point is the tax benefits, right? It's more friendly as a freelancer for the tax benefit sides, right? And I can tell you that, if I'm not a freelancer right now, I'll be paying around like 50% for my income tax. But right now, because I'm a freelancer, because I have incorporated my freelance business, then my tax rate is 11%, right? So that is a lot lower than how much I will be paying for taxes, right, if I am just a full-time employee. And I made a video to talk about this point more in detail. So if you're wondering, you can check that video out too. And then the next point is, you get to choose what type of projects do you want to work on. And that one is pretty big too, right? Like for me, I think what get me excited about being a designer is I get to solve the problems that I'm passionate about, right? But before, when I was working for a agency full time, and they get a lot of, constructional clients, and which I'm not really passionate about that, right? But I have no say about this. But right now I have say about like what kind of project do I want to take on, what kind of people do I want to help. And that is just a lot better, right? And that make me do better work as well. And that got me to the next point is, building your portfolio quickly and in the direction that you want to build it, right? Because of all this great work you've been building for your client, then you can put it onto your portfolio. But if you are working for one company for a year, right, you may not have that many work that you can put on your portfolio. So this is just a way that you can quickly grow your portfolio. And what makes a designer better than the next one, right, is the portfolio that you have. So that is what determines you as a better designer, right? So being able to build your portfolio is another very good point of being a freelancer. And then next two is, the more stable stream of work. And that one you may wonder, right? Like a lot of people talk about freelancing as like not very stable work, right? 1 month you may have work and the next month you may be out of work, right? So, but right now in 2022, the method that I find is helping me to be a lot more stable than, when I had a full-time job, right? And I will tell you guys more about this point later on in the video. And then the last one is be your own boss. So who doesn't want to be your own boss, right? You get to design the whole thing, your future. And also like one of these points is about you is before, remember when I was working at the company, and then if I have to talk to my CEO founder, right, I'll be pretty nervous because I feel like, they're higher than me, right? But right now, like when I'm working with this founder, I am working with them as a client, as a like as a consultant, right? So we're on an equal level. So I just love that we are working with each other on the equal level and just make me a lot easier. So that is great for me. I don't know about you guys, but that just feels great for me. So that is all the benefits, right? And hopefully if you're not considering it, like looking at all these benefits, you may wonder like, hey, so how can I actually get started, right? But before that, I want to tell you like, why do I think 2022 is a good year? And not just 2022, right? I think before 2022, like after COVID, it's already started a pretty like prime time for contractor freelancers. And I will tell you why, right? I talked about it in my video before as well, because right now, like most of the clients that I met are online, right? Like they're all on video chats, and when I see them, right, they're either in their living room or they're in their like backyard or whatever, right? Kind of like they're working from home. So if you think from the employee perspective, right now all of my employees, they're all working from home. So what makes a full-time employee different than the contractor I hire, right? So contractor, they're basically doing the similar type of work, right? They're not working in the office anyway. So the difference between them is a lot less than before, right? But then when you think about, so what are the benefits then? What are the benefits of hiring contractors, not full-time employees, right? When I hire full-time employee, I have to pay for the insurance. I have to pay for their holidays. I have to pay for their sick leave, right? If they get a baby, I have to pay for months without work and all this, right? And also, if I want to fire a full-time employee, it's a lot harder than firing a contractors, right? So with all this stuff, right, it's just a lot easier for me to hire a contractor, right? A lot less hustle, a lot less paperwork. And usually the hiring process can be a lot faster as well, right? But because most of the time, this contractor, they can start working right away, not quitting their current full-time job and all this stuff, right? So there's just a lot easier for a business to hire a freelancer right now, a contractor. So you can see that if you go online, if you go on like, let's say working, not working, right? You can quickly see that a lot of companies right now, they're hiring they're hiring freelancers a lot more than before, right? Before, when I'm checking on working, not working, there may be like 20% of jobs that are, freelance work. But right now you can see almost like 40% of the jobs are freelance work right now. So the trend is going up and up, right? And these companies are willing to pay more money and keep the contract for longer if that is a right fit, right? Then a full-time employee, a traditional full-time employee. So the trend is just getting better for freelancers. So that's why I think in 2022, it's actually a pretty good year to get started. If you're thinking about it, it's a lot less difficult than before because you have a lot more clients around right now. So lastly, right, if you're thinking about all this and if you are sold on the idea to become a full-time freelancer, then how do I actually get started, right? What kind of thing do I need to do to get started? So I would say that it's a lot less intimidating as before, right? If you check my video before, I talk a lot about, writing cold email, like just going to conferences and all this stuff to find clients, right? It's a lot harder before, but right now, all you need to do is, on the next job you're looking for, just go on this kind of job site, just look for one that is hiring a freelancers, right? Then most of these jobs, they would not be full-time, so they'll be 20 hours per week. But that is perfect for you, right? Remember the point that I mentioned before? I talk about you get more stable stream of work, right? So one company, and you only get paid for the work that you actually get done as a freelancer, right? So one company, they may not have a lot of work from time to time, but right now, if you get one client that is 20 hours per week, then you can get another client 20 hours per week, then you have two companies at the same time that you're working for, right? Then it's a little bit more stable, right? If one job, you still have another one. But the good thing is, there's no limit of how many clients can you take as a freelancer, right? If you want, you can take another one. So right now, my method is I keep around like 3 clients going on at the same time. Some of them are 10 hours, 15 hours, 20 hours, maybe 4 clients, 20 hours. But then end up, it will be somewhere roughly around like 40 hours or 50 hours per week right now for me, right? So that would be a lot more stable. So if one day I don't have a lot of work from one company, I still have another company giving me work. So if one company want to drop me, I still have like another 2 company that are keep me working, right? So that I feel it's a lot more stable. And if I want to be extra more hardworking, right, I can still take like MVP work, so 40 grand per project, something like that, right? Like, so I can really use my time really, really well, and it make me feel a lot easier. And like I said, right, getting this kind of contract work is just a lot easier than before. 1 or 2 calls and boom, I have a new clients, right? And I also mentioned that companies like that are willing to pay more. So right now I'm charging around like $100 per hour minimum, and sometimes 110 for my clients. So that roughly my yearly revenue will be around like 200 grand, 300 grand, somewhere around there right now. So that is something that I would not get if I am just a full-time employee. So that is all for this video, right? If you like the topic that I talk about, if that kind of help you to clear your mind a little bit more, then hopefully it does, right? Then let me know in the comment section down below, or if you have any other questions, right? Like I said, I made a lot of videos about freelancing, so you can go check out those as well. And definitely, if you like my video, give it a thumbs up, and then also subscribe to my channel as well. And also, I have a lot of social media links down below too if you want to follow that. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Cheers.